today I'm gonna be streaming again the coding session of my game. So I hope you can see and hear me. Can you, as a matter of fact, hear me? Nope. Okay. I'm gonna check how stream goes there. Okay, I can see myself in VK. Okay, nice. So yeah, today I'm gonna be continuing the stuff I was doing yesterday, and that was the combat system. So what I'm gonna do here is to start the REPL and actually start the demo. I think, yeah. So first I'm gonna load my engine itself, which is called D2CloneKit. And I'm gonna check whether it still works. So I probably gonna get in the package and call demo. So yeah, it still works. I still got one mob that tries to get close to me. And the plan is to make him actually attack me here and to have the ability to attack him, whatever. So I have this weird thing where I hit him so the animation plays, but then the mob is constantly playing the animation of being in pain. So I think I'm gonna do something about that. Yeah, now the animation resets, but anyway, if I hit him again, yeah, if I hit him again, this stuff happens again. Oh, now it's dead. Yeah, but there's also bug with being dead, because he's walking again towards me. Oh, and there's the animation of attack is stuck. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna finish that by today, I hope. So yeah, first of all I wanted to check, so yeah, I have some different kinds of animations. I'm using the Aseprite program. How do I pronounce it anyway? Aseprite, Ace, well, anyway. So I have these different animations, and for instance there's the animation of hit. No, that's another one. The animation of the actual swing, of the actual attack. So I think I need to attach some sort of meta information to those animations, because, well, not all animations are created equal. Some animations are better than others. The thing is, some animations continue being played after they started playing. For instance, walking. You're gonna want to play the walking animation until the character in the game actually stops. And then there are some other animations, like for instance the swing, actually, which you wanna play just once, because you do hit just once, and then to do another hit you have to click the enemy again. Or for instance, I don't know, shoot the arrow or cast a spell, so you do this one time, not constantly as she's doing it right now. So I think it actually is kinda similar to finite state machine pattern, because there are some sort of rules of going from one animation to another. but I think I will not make it. I will not actually code the FSM, the finite state machine. I will just do it with the custom method, just add some meta information to each of the animation stances about whether I need to repeat that animation or if I don't. So for instance, I will add this flag to this swing animation, and it will stop when it is played one time. So the thing is, I actually have to find a way to add this meta information to this format. So I have actually custom parser for this Aseprite format, but I have to find a way. I have to actually study my instruments and find out all of its possibilities. So yeah, here's the animation direction, which I don't actually take into account in my game in parser or anyway. Probably I can use this thing to add this flag. I don't know. Maybe I should just read the description of Aseprite format and find some stuff. Find some ways to add that information. Yeah, so here it is. So I've been using this document to actually write a wrapper for that, to the parser for that format. So I think I will just carefully look it through and find out that thing. So I don't think I will need some stuff in header, because it's the file wise. It has some things that are applied to the file, to the whole animation file itself. Probably it have to do something with the frame. It's magic number, all fields prefer the number of chunks. This one is chunks during frame. That's not frame duration. Maybe I can make some trick with frame duration, and so it has, I reckon, some default duration. I actually want to see which those values are. So okay, I have the entity of player, and the cool thing about LISPs is that I can expect the running program right on the way, right as I want to inspect something. So I have this component which is sprite, of player entity, and with bindings I wanted to see what I wanted to see. That's a nice question. So I want to see in the character, in sprite system, I have some stuff in it. Yeah, hello. So there was the question about window manager. It is i3 actually. i3. I've been using it for quite a long time, but now I'm thinking probably to switch to stamp WM for obvious reasons, because it is in common Lisp. I still kinda love this one, but sometimes it is pain in the ass. But overall it's kinda good, and I can recommend it if you're looking for tiling window manager. Okay, so I wanted to look at what exactly? At the animations. Yeah, I have this field frame durations, so I'm gonna want to look at that. Okay, so I have some default duration, obviously, which is 0.1, and there are some durations that I've set for idle animation. So here they are half a second. Okay, so probably I can use the trick. I can set a duration to 0, and that should indicate that this frame is the end frame in the sequence of frames. So that's one way to do it, but probably I want to be smarter, make something nicer. Okay, so we have this layer chunk which corresponds to layers, so that won't do. We have cell chunk which corresponds to actual one animation frame. They're called cells in Aseprite for some reason. So yeah, exponential degradation cell type. Cell type for future with height, raw pixel data. Linked cell. Okay, so there's also this format feature which is called linked cells. Maybe I can use that. Linked cells. How do I? I'm actually not that good in Aseprite, but anyway, let's move it up here. Yeah, I can actually link cells, but what good will it do? What happened? No, that's not what I wanted. Oh yeah, I link cells in just one layer. I need them both. So what's that? Why it is not moving now? No, that's not what I want. Hello. Nice to see you. So where are you from, guys? If you can write in chat, that's interesting to me. Where you came from. So actually what I can't really understand what those link cells are. Linked cells in Aseprite. I maybe need to do a horrific thing and read documentation. Okay, two cells are linked when I share the image and XY coordinate. Yeah, that won't do for me. I want the frames to have different image, but I want them to be connected at some meta level. So that won't do. Continuous layer. What does that mean? The continuous kind of cells I've copied. Okay, I see. I'm not copying them. Okay, so linked cells won't do. Yeah, I know. Okay, so there are other types of chunks, which I probably read in some of them. So I want to find something, the mask chunk, which is deprecated, mask. Yeah, that's the part. Tax. Tax. So, yeah, okay, for future, yeah, sure. Give the values, action idea, tag name. Okay, collect user data. How actually I can add user data in my Aseprite just inside the editor? Is it search page? No. So I forgot. Oh, yeah, user data. User data in cell. So should user data. So Yeah, okay. User data, yeah, here's the some post on Twitter about an Aseprite is actually user data field, layers and cells. Okay, some kind of video. Oh, cell properties. Okay, wait a second. So for instance, for that end cell. Nice. So what can I put here? Can I put like, that's cool. So I can actually read that in my format parser. Using the chunk, the last red chunk, where the data belongs to that layer. If you read a cell, it belongs to that cell. As text as color, it flags it bit 1. Oh, it can even have color. Yeah, it can. It's kinda actually interesting feature. Maybe I can use that for something else, for some kind of spells, for instance, and like to pick a color, which draw these special effects for some things. I don't know. What else can I use there? So there's some kind of slice chunk, slice height, slice center position, two for each slice for a number. Yeah, that kind of looks too hard. And that's all. Okay, so my two yeah, so about me working with Seal, I've been working with it for like, I don't know, less than a year, maybe about 8 months or something. So I started by reading Practical Common Lisp by Peter Ziegel, which I really recommend as the starting book for Seal. And I've started reading it on 19 autumn, I reckon. So yeah, it's maybe like 8 or something months. This one is actually the first large project of mine in Common Lisp. So yeah, I kinda want it to succeed. Okay, so two possibilities for me here to indicate this meta information about the end of animation sequence is to use user data, which I really probably should use for some other stuff. And the second possibility was, what was that? I already forgot. It was to set some sort of weird direction, frame direction, for instance 0 or negative or whatever. Or probably there was some other thing, or some other thing. So properties. No, probably I can use these cell properties the same way I'm using the properties in tiled. So I'm using the tiled map editor for the maps, and I'm quite aggressively using its mechanics for properties. It have some, well, very nice mechanism for properties where you can set just any name to a property and then any value of almost any type. So it supports a lot of types like integer, color, file, path, whatever. And I'm using it quite extensively for instance, for setting the collisions in the map. And probably I can use it in some generic way also here, these cell properties in Aseprite. But I can set the pair of key and value. I just have, well, the only one string and color assigned to it. So probably I'll be setting those just as well, just as keywords. So okay, I think I'm gonna do that. So my swing animation, this these cells, I will set, for instance, how do I call it? I'm so bad at naming things, so I'm gonna have to think okay, so that's the last frame in the sequence, and after playing this frame we wanted to switch back to like idle animation or whatever. So so here, yeah, and there was also another workaround for death stance. So I have this stance. Yeah, I'm checking if there's the last frame in the death animation, then I'm not continuing to playing it forward. Well, for obvious reasons. So probably I should also use, well, just remove that workaround and use also properties for that. I think that would be a good idea. Okay, but they are kind of different mechanics. So for death, I want to stop and not return back to idle animation. Actually, what I'm having here is after I've ended the sequence, I want to know which animation sequence I want to play now. So probably what I want to do here is just add the name of the next sequence. So for instance, for idle, the next animation would be idle. For walk, the next animation would be walk. But for swing, the next animation would be idle. For block, for hit, for and for death, the next animation would be what? There will be no next animation because that will be the still frame that I will be needing to display. That's kind of hard. And I kind of wanted to do it right the first time. Well, actually, that's the second time I'm trying to develop the Diablo clone using LISP family of languages. The first one was in Racket, which is the Scheme dialect, and I kind of released it also for the Game Jam, for the LISP Game Jam 2019, but it wasn't that good. Actually, it was terrible because I've screwed up the mathematics of calculating the isometric math, so it was terrible to control your character. So now it's a bit better. Okay, so I want to have some mechanic that will say to this sprite system which animation should be played next. Maybe I should have some kind of I want to have two different cases here for all other animations and for death animation, that one. So after I've played block, I'm going back to idle. After I've played hit, I'm playing back the idle. After I played cast, I'm playing idle. After I played shoot, I'm playing back the idle, and that's all animations I have. So for idle, the next one would be idle. Probably I just don't want to set here nothing. But for swing, I want to indicate that the next animation is idle. And for block, indicate that the next animation is idle. For hit, the same story. For cast, the same story. And for shoot, seems there. Oh, I will be needing to set this for all of the directions, and I have quite a lot of them. Okay, so that probably would take a while, but okay, I'm just thinking on how to do that. So I've set the name of next animation to idle for all of those, but for that I want to set something different. What I actually want to set here, I want to set some flag that is not the animation name, but instead some kind of the indication that this is well, the end of the animation sequence, and I don't want to play any animation whatsoever. So probably some word like stop or something. Stop. No, that's just to dump. Maybe 0. Or maybe I want to set, I don't know, minus. I'm not having a minus as a valid animation name. My valid animation names are all valid identifiers. So probably, yeah, some kind of this flag. Okay. So that will unburden my code from having to deal with with choosing what animation to play next. For instance, here in combat system, I've already written some logic to switch. Where is it? Yeah, to switch the entity back to idle. Switch the current animation. So here I would have to remove this line. That will not really a big of a help, but anyway. Where I'm calling switch stance anyway. So I'm calling it in a number of places. Here's the definition. I'm calling it in where character system. So I'm switching back here from walk to idle when there is no path to follow. Yeah, that will be left here in the code. I'm switching here when the character stumble upon some collision. So yeah, it also will be left here. And here I'm in here. Yeah, I'm switching back to walking animation. Yeah, it all will be left there. I'm switching to death animation when the health is 0, obviously. So it's also, yeah, it also needs to be left in the code. So yeah, that actually does not really that much unburden the code. But actually, I'm not really processing all of those animations right now, so I'm just integrating the swing animation. I don't have any places in code that play block or hit or cast or shoot animation. So maybe that will make sense. Yeah, I think it certainly will make sense. So what I'm doing here to reiterate, I'm setting the property. Oh, there's also opacity, but not Oh, it makes, yeah, it really changes opacity. I'm also, I don't think I'm reading this value in my parser of ASE format. But anyway, so I'm adding to some cells the property of with the name of the next animation, and it also can be minus, which denotes the necessity to just stay still on that frame and not play any animation further. Okay, so where I will add it, it's the right system. So I think I'll probably need to add batches, batch entity, list of frame numbers, other directions, frame directions. I kind of forgot the format I'm using here. So, well, LISP is the language with dynamic typing. So, layer batches. So I'm creating the sprite batches as I load new sprites just beforehand. And I have stances, which are hash table, obviously, and in that hash table is, I forgot how to iterate. Yeah, that's the actual page from Lisp cookbook where I always go to remember how to iterate some things. So yeah, that's kind of a lot of to remember for the hash table, all that kind of stuff. So I want to look at that, blah 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 blah. So I wanna print key and print value. Oops, extra parentheses. Yeah, okay, nice. Alright, so here are my stances. They have, as a keys, they have the actual keywords with the names of animations. And as the values, they have lists of frame numbers. And where do I refer with that frame numbers? Oh yeah, I built the sprite sheet and I go, I'm using it in layer batch. So yeah, now it all comes back to my head. Okay, so right, so I think I will have to load those properties in some another field and then just look there. Yeah, so first of all I'm gonna add all of those to my actual file using some Lua script, because I don't want to sit and type all of the stuff for these like what, several thousand of frames. Oh, actually there are 512. Yeah, but anyway, that's too much. So I'm gonna write some script because, well, I'm a programmer. Anyway, so yeah, I already have some scripts here. Yeah, probably I'll just copy that. I'll probably just edit it maybe. So I'm actually using the new Aseprite API here. Sorry. And yeah, I'm probably gonna read the documentation again. So the So what I want to do is to modify cell properties. Cell, cell. And here property. Oh, right. Reference. Yeah, I think I'm watching it right now. Yeah, I do. Let's go to examples. Yeah, I'll probably do that. So I'm needing the property, and there's just opacity, and there are no properties here, but there's data. So yes, I said the user-defined data related to this cell, a text string. Nice. That's what I want to use. So stance, tag. No, I don't want any tag. I actually want a cell, and then I want to access its data. So how do I access cell? Yeah, so Aseprite have some different meaning for some different stuff. So this sprite is the file overall. This whole file is called sprite, and the actual frames are called cells. So how do I actually access one cell? I was accessing here. I was just creating new text, but now I want to call some stuff on that sprite. So I need a cell. Sprite cells, nice. So as cells I. Okay. So less than frames. Yeah, that's about right. So as cells, the index of f. So f actually goes here from just through all of my animations here. They're just there. So yeah, so for some cell with some index wherever, I want to access its data and set it. Am I doing it right? I guess I don't do that. So data. So data. Just access a field. Yeah, I guess I'm doing it right. So what I was going to do by hand, manually, I was going to set the property of swing animations. That's weird that I can't actually access the separate layers, because what is happening here? There's ground layer, new layer, new cell. Just a new cell, a given layer, and frame number. So cells belongs to layers, obviously. So how do I set this property for all of the layers? Because, well, I want to be on the safe side. So flatten layers of the sprite into one layer. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Layers. Alright, layers. So maybe I can access my frame from the sprite. No, the other way. I can access my cell from the layer. So I'm gonna look at the documentation for layer and cell. Yeah, here it is. Alright. So now I'm gonna to go through all of the layers, like here. I am layer. Yeah, right. Like here. So I'm gonna go through all of the layers, and then for each layer I'm gonna access some specific cells. Where's the layer? So yeah, cell with frame number. Nice. So layer cell with number F with some offset. I will deal with it in a minute. So I accessed this cell, and now I want to access its data and set it to some value. Yeah, right. This will look like this. So what I want to do here, I want to set the swing animation, the data for swing animation, to have the value of idle, because I want to switch to idle animation after swing animation. So the number of frame would be actually, what would it be? So F, alright, so here F is this one, and F plus 3 is the last in the idle, this one. So it's F, F plus 1, F plus 2, F plus 3. So F starts with 1. So I'm setting the 16th cell properties here. So I want to add the 15, I guess, to F. And I want to set it to idle. Now I'm going to do the same for what? For block, that is 18, so I'm going to add 17. I'm going to do the same for heat, it's 20, so I'm going to add 19. I'm going to do the same for cast, 29 or 28, so I'm going to set 27. And shoot animation, so I have 32, so I'm set it to 31. Nice. So I guess that's about it. Yeah, and for that, some things for that. So here's the frame 24. So I'm gonna set the frames F plus 23 data to just dash, which will mean that that's the end frame in the sequence, and I don't want to play any other frames. Okay, that's I guess that will do. Yeah, it probably should. So I will try to launch this script in a second. Yeah, so here's empty. I'm gonna just run. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna restart Aseprite and then run it again. Okay, so now I'm going to start it and see if it changes the value of property for 16th cell. Scripts, properties. What? Okay, that's some Lua for you. Attempt to index enable value S 7 S. Oh yeah, okay, I have sprite here. The variable is called sprite. Okay, will it reload it? Yeah, nice, it kinda worked. So let's see. Yeah, it set it to idle. Let's check, for instance, heat. Yeah, it set it to idle. And for instance, depth. Yeah, right. Let's check some other direction. For instance, that one, the facing screen direction. So here's the swing animation. Yeah, right. It's set to its properties set to idle. Let's see that one. Yeah, that's empty as it should be. And the depth. Yeah, that's just dash. So I'm all set. I've added all the stuff in my file. So I've saved it. Where I have saved it? Yeah, in here. Will it be loaded? I'm gonna check if the assets path is right. So right now I reckon they're loaded from there. And in sprites I have a symbolic link to that one. Is it that one? No, that's not. So I need to copy over the one from Heroine. It's a nice name. From Heroine. Is it just modified? 944? Yeah, it's just modified. So I want to copy it over to here, I guess. And now I guess it will work. The new version will be loaded by the engine. Yeah, well, okay. So now for the hardest part. Now I will need to actually modify my parser to load that information. So I don't think that's script. Yeah, probably I won't also modify that nice spider end guy, and also to set these cell properties for him. But I'm gonna be needing a different script because he has slightly different animation stances. So I'm gonna just copy over that one, properties, spider and nice, thanks, hello. Oh geez. And I'm gonna modify it to have a proper frame names. So I have those frame names, frame numbers here, but probably I will just look in the file itself. So what I want to do here for that spider ant guy, I want to set these frames value to idle, and that's here. Then I want to set this frame 17, yeah, right. Then I want to set this one to idle, yeah, 19. Then he has a death animation with the frame 24, so I'm setting it, yeah, plus 23 to dash, and the, yeah, he actually he has two different death animations. The usual death, where he just rolls and kinda is dead, and then a critical death where he actually bleeds some blood on the floor, which is kinda more gore. So I guess I want to have these frames property also to dash, to indicate that that's also the end frame in the sequence of frames. The 30, so I'm gonna add 31 here, 31, so I don't need this, and that's actually it. I don't need any more properties here, I think. Come on. So I guess I wanna reload it. Yeah, I want to reload it again, and I'm gonna launch my fresh script properties spider end. So do I have these properties right? Yeah, I do. And I have this one at empty, yeah, right. I have the death property of dash, and the crit death also dash. And here, is it empty? Yeah, it is empty. So let's check some other direction, like for instance this one. So swing, yeah, it's idle, and for death, the dash, right. So I think that's about right. I also, I think, have to copy it over. Yeah, I have to copy it over from spider end ASE to d2 clone kit spider end ASE. Okay. So now for the most hardest part, I have to modify my my parser of ASE format. That will be probably the most hardest part. So probably that's time for some carbohydrates. Sorry about the sound. Okay, so where's the user data? Yeah, user data chunk. So I have this parser of 212 lines long, which is not that much really. It's kind of easy format to parse. So what I want to do is to read a different type of chunk. I reckon I have some. Yeah, well, thanks. So I have what I have. I have some methods for reading different types of chunk. So, but for some reason there's only one here with the type 2005, which I reckon denotes the actual cell. But I want to read this one, 2020, which is the same as the current year, which is fun. Read chunk. Oh yeah, I have some different types here. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna just add a new method for that type of chunk. Chunk with type that equals to 2020. Right. And the stream. Okay, I'm gonna write something here. So I want to read this string here. I probably don't want to read a color. I have no use for it right now, and I don't think I will have, but everything could happen. But again, I could just modify the code at any point. Okay, so I'm gonna check that the flags have 1 in it, and then what? Then I will have to read it somewhere, and I reckon this should be some new type of a structure, which I have here. Yeah, so I have these different structures which are in Lisp just as C structures, and I have those for different pieces of that file format. So I have this structure for the cell. So what I want to do here, do I want to add a new structure, or I just want to modify this one and write the new data right in it? Well, to do the latter, I will have to somehow index those cell chunk structures to access and modify them. Can I do that? Well, anyway, how do I... Oh yeah, I'm calling these methods read chunk, and they just return their corresponding structures, right? Text chunk. Yeah, I guess that's right. And how I actually, where do I put those? Read chunk. How do I call read chunk? Chunk header. Where does that go? Oh yeah, that goes in variable chunk. Okay, yeah, I remember now. I just have just one-to-one correspondence between those structures and the file format. So I guess I will have to just add the structure as it is. Okay, so I think somewhere here. So I'll define a new structure that just represents bits from that file, an ASE file. And that would be ASE data chunk, user data chunk. Yeah, I reckon it would include also this ASE chunk. Would it? I guess all of those chunks have a same header and then some different filling. Yeah, I guess they do. Alright, so user data, where was I? Yeah, I was here. So I want to include this ASE chunk with type. Oh, I have some kind of dispatch here by the type, which is a field in where in ASE chunk here, and it's a symbol. Okay, I kinda was certainly was smart here. So at least I was trying. So user data. Alright, and I'm gonna have all of those fields. So I have flex, which default to 0 and have a type, I reckon, of fixed num. Yeah, because on all architectures, double word will fit in fixed num. Then again, I have a text, which is a string, and I have 4 bytes, which are color values. Well, I will just add them for the sake of completeness. So red, green, blue, alpha. Red, the default of 0, I guess. Yeah, I guess default in Aseprite was 0, wasn't it? Yeah, it's all zeros. It's all zeros and 0 passive. Yeah, nice. Okay. So red, it's actually byte. Do I have? Do I add a separate byte here? Yeah, probably. The LISP compiler will pack it nicely into one machine word. So how I actually add a byte in common LISP? Yeah, unsigned byte. That's actually what I need here. So unsigned byte. Then I have then I have blue. No, then I have green. And then I have blue, and then I have alpha. So that's it. So what I want to do next? Yeah, probably next I will just blindly read that structure. It is kinda tricky because I will have to look at flux first. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm gonna read that flux value. Let's read binary. I'm gonna read what double word. Do I have double word type? Yeah, I guess I do. Okay, so I've read flex. Now I want to check this bit field, and I can't recall how to make it in common Lisp, to be frank. What I actually want to do here is a bitwise operation, which is called, how it is called, bitwise end, I guess. So, is it that simple? Bit and what's the difference in this one? Different C and I can see really what's the difference between bit and bit and C1. C1. What the heck it should even mean? Oh, and complement. Yeah, okay. So I'm I'm just needing simple bit end. So let's test it. Bit end, bit array 1, bit array 2. What types are actually those? A bit array. Specifies array of that is of type array bit. Whose elements of type bit. Probably that's not that easy. Then it seems. Let's check on Rosetta code. It always have some nice bits of code to look into. Log end. Yeah, I also have log end. What does it do? Log end blah 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 blah. Yeah, it takes integers. Nice. Yeah, probably I want log end. I want log end. Yeah, let's test, for instance, 11 and 1. That's 1. That's correct. And then 10 and 1, which is 0. Yeah, correct. So let's test just for the sake of completeness. 12 and 2, which is 0. Yeah, right. And 13 and 2, 0. Yeah, right. So for instance, if that's 16, 15, 2. What is it? What does it actually do? I'm kinda bad with this low-level stuff because I've already forgotten it. Last time I was using it, it was like I don't know, in high school. Wow, that's a lot. What I need is just simple add assembler instruction. So I'm gonna test end of x. I'm gonna optimize it. Declare optimize speed 3 and safety 0. And I'm gonna call that log end with the argument, for instance, of 2. What? Not legal function. Oh yeah, the extra parent. Declare. Oh yeah, probably I've meant the claim. I always kind of forget what should I use. X is unbound. How it is unbound? Okay. Right. So it comes. The argument X comes, I guess, in what on a stack. Then it calls all of that proclaim stuff. No, maybe I'm not using it quite right. Claim. Probably if I declaim. Okay. If I declaim the type of X to be fixnum, fixnum X. Yeah, that's the same. All right. So call proclaim and with 4, and if I change that 2 to 3, it ends with 6. So it actually compiles into end instruction, which means it is what I need here. Okay, I'll probably just print the value here and then see what happens. So if the flags have 1 in it, I'm gonna read text. And by the way, I think I can have both of those. I mean both color and string, so like something like that, and then oh, it even changes. Oh no, not. Yeah, it kinda have both. So I'm gonna have to write two ifs here. Yeah, that would be actually whence. So when log end of flex and 1 is not 0, 0, yeah, probably I need to have unless here. So unless that end operation yields 0, I have actually 1 in that flex, and then I'm gonna have to read string. I reckon I have some function that reads that string or not. I reckon I was making, yeah, read binary of ise string. Okay. So read binary ise string. The argument of string. Oh yeah, I forgot it here. And that would be what that would be. The text. So I probably want to set some default values here. Text, which will default to empty string, and that RGB and A values. Okay, RGB. That's not very nice, but okay. Maybe I'll just do that. Can I do that? I mean, I actually can, but does it look nice? I don't know if it's common between Lispers to write let clauses in that way. But anyway, so I was dealing with flex, so yeah, I'm gonna set text to that thing that I read from stream, and then I've also gonna check if there's there's a value of 2 inside the flex, right, and if that is the case, then I'm gonna have set that color values. So I'm gonna set R to red binary byte, I guess. Byte. Yeah, right. Will it actually mess with the endianas? Do I have to read them in reverse? I can't actually recall if I was doing that. Why? Probably not. Okay, let's see. So R G binary of byte and the same for B and for A. Okay, nice. So that's about it, and I have just to return what do I have to return? The that new structure. So I've named it, how have I named it? User data chunk. So I'm gonna have to call make this thing with the corresponding values. Flex. Do I really have to set flex here? Was I setting the flex in the previous code? For instance, I have flex in layer chunk. Have I added them in the layer chunk? No, I haven't. I just have name and ID. That's all. It's weird. Height. Set the future layer name. Product cells. Okay, I was probably a bit sloppy when I was making that parser. So anyway, make user that chunk. Yeah, so I probably need to remove the flags, because why would I need those? And I have red, green, blue, and alpha. So text value of text, red R, green G, blue B, and alpha of A. Okay, cool. So that's about it, I guess. Yeah, I don't have this structure as of yet. Right? Okay. So, to test it, I guess I'm gonna just see what happens when I load it. Oh, that's a lot. That's quite a lot of ones. Yeah, and I guess I'm gonna just test how that logend goes with that one value. So if I call logend with 1 and 1, returns 1, which is non-zero. And this case obviously works. So that's not 0, of course, unless 0. If not 0. Right. Okay. So now I want to take that information. Yeah, probably I want to also display the names of the properties I've read. So I will print text here, and well, I'm gonna have to reload the game. That's idle, and that's some dashes. Nice, it works just as expected. So I'm gonna remove all the debug prints. Oops. Okay, now I'm gonna make use of that information that I got from here. How I'm gonna do that? Right chunk. Where it actually ends up, I kind of forgot. So binary header, I have frame chunks, ASC chunk, layer chunk, ASE file. So ASE file have frames, which are vector of ASE frame. And ASE frame contains chunks, and chunks are just vector. Yeah, right. So I have also this large function in sprite subsystem, which actually makes sense of all of that information. So I guess I'm gonna just add some code somewhere here. Have I compiled, by the way? Yeah. Okay. The key function here is, I think, load sprite stances, or is it though? How do I actually? Okay, I'm gonna find how I make a new prefab, prefab. How do I pronounce it? Anyway, I have this ASE file where I call load Aseprite. And then I parse all the stuff here. I kinda reshape all of those informations in a proper way. So what I want to do here is just have that separate field in the sprite component for just, well, properties. I just gonna need to think. Well, that's. I think something is missing. Something is missing. Yet something is definitely missing, namely the index of this cell. That's bad. That's quite bad, because I have to actually have this information to make any sense of it. If I read a layer, the user data belongs to that layer. Oh, I see. So if we read a cell, it belongs to that cell. So when we call that method, that particular method, read chunk with that type, we already read the index. We already read the cell that this user data belongs to. So I reckon I can fix that with some dynamic variable. So I can have like what? I can first of all, I forgot how to make a dynamic variable in LISP. Shame on me. Yeah, I read that part in practical LISP, but to this moment I forgot. So yeah, I guess I already read that Stack Overflow answer. Okay, so I actually need a dynamic variable inside the function, and I reckon I already had this kind of stuff with that layer ID, judging by that star signs. Oh, yeah, I see. I declared it here. Okay, so I guess I will do just the same for the cell index. So where do I need it? So which is the cell type, cell chunk type, cell, yeah, 2005. So somewhere here I will define variable, a dynamic variable, cell ID with the type of fixed num, of course, and I will set it here when I'm reading actually the cell. But do cells have indices? Cell chunk where I didn't data. Which data? Oh yeah, the image data. So they actually don't have an ID, as I can see. But how do I deal with that layer ID here? Oh yeah, I'm reading it somewhere from the file, from the, yeah, actually from 2005 type here, yeah, layer index. So I'm reading it here explicitly, but there's no cell index, I guess, and I'm gonna have, oops, I don't want to edit that, thank you, cell index, cell sprite. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to count the cells implicitly, but the problem is that they can they can go in the file in any order, so I can accidentally count them wrong. That's a problem. Yeah, what I will do here, I will see if they really go in different order. So I'm gonna see which layer they come from. Yeah, they go. Wow, that's chaotic, to say the least. They all go from this the layer 1. Oh no, that's the wrong output. They go just from the 0 layer, then from first, then again from 0, again from first. But then, what happens then? Yeah, then they all go from 0 layer. That's not good at all. I might even say that that is bad. I wonder what is the count of those things. So I'm gonna just count those different yeah, these ones. So they start from 0, so end is the last one. So let's see how many lines is there. So there are 1024, which is actually the count of cells in my file. Then what are those zeros at the end? Wait, what if I comment out that and just clean the output and see what happens then? Do I have some extra debug output? No, I don't. That's weird. That's proper weird. So I have these checks. Layer. I wonder what are those last cell chunks with the layer index set to 0. By the way, how many are those? Okay, so I'm gonna count lines of those zeros, and there's less of them. There is 512. That's the half of them, actually. That's really weird. What are those last chunks with zeros in layer index? To put a cell in a specified layer frame. So type 1 on cell, first image, future, row cell, cell type. Yeah, maybe I will just print the whole cell structure, but just, oh yeah, that's just a layer ID and nothing more. Wait, there's also width and height. Width, height, and also process, which is what we function here. Case, okay, so I'm gonna print all of that stuff there. Now we'll just use format. So I'm gonna print the layer ID. Then I'm gonna print. There's also X and Y position, but they are not actually used. Okay, so I'm gonna print the process function, then the width and height, W by H, D and D, and the new line. Yeah, so layer ID, then the process, then width and height. Width and height. Oops. Okay, so I'm gonna clean that again and restart. That will take some time. Oh, actually it didn't. So I have all of those cells which actually are compressed because, well, they have image data with proper width and height of 128, and then here are those zeros which are also compressed and also have width and height of 128. That's weird, just weird. Probably I have to have some debug output here when I load all this stuff into the actual sprite component. So sprite stances. Chunk. What I need here is cell chunk. Cell chunk. We do blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. So here I form the one big tile sheet, and here maps for chunk across different chunks of frame. I'm really puzzled by this. Where does that even come from? I reckon I had this one. I should have when I was writing the parser, but now I just can't remember. Okay, so what should I do about the cell IDs? Okay, so I'm gonna print that stuff here and see when happens the reading of that user data information. So probably I would have it just fine. Okay, so I'm gonna compile that, and when I read user data chunk, I will just print. No, format. I will just format user data. User data. And just print the text. And also a new line. So the what? Blah 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 text. So I'm gonna have to restart. Oops, nope. I'm gonna restart the game again, clean the output, and then call daemon. So, I have user data in both of those things. So here I have this user data for both cells, because, well, I have two layers here. Okay, anyway, here. So wait, I get it now. I'm actually loading two different sprites, the one for spider ant and the one for the heroine. So yeah, God, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb that sometimes it even frightens me. How can I actually be that dumb? Okay, so I'm gonna press the U button, which does undo in my Emacs for some time, for quite some time. Yeah. Right. So now I have this cell ID, and I'm gonna set it to 0 when I start reading the sprite file itself. I'm gonna set it to 0, and then that's a dynamic variable, so I'm gonna set it in where? I'm gonna set it. Yeah, I'll probably make the trick here. I will be increasing that counter cell ID only when I'm reading the cell from the 0 layer, because any sprite file has at least one layer which has index of 0. So this trick will work. So where should I go? 2005? Yeah, here. So when the layer ID is 0, I'm gonna increase the cell ID. Something like that. Will it actually work? So I have the cell ID dynamic variable at the start, I set it to 0, then when I'm reading chunk, I'm increasing it 91. Do I start with -1 to start from 0, or do I have to have the indices which are 1 based as in Aseprite? I don't know. That depends on how I do index. Yeah, I guess I index them from 0, so I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to start from -1, so that they're properly started from 0. So incaf cell ID, yeah, right. And then I can use the dynamic variable in my method, which reads user data chunk. I can actually use that value and I can even add that ID to that structure. I should anyway. So cell ID 0 type exam. That's not what I meant. So cell ID, right? I'm gonna compile that. Yeah, of course. And then alright, I have this 2020, which is type of user data chunk, and I'm setting here cell ID to that dynamic variable. Cell ID. Nice. What? Why? Oh yeah, I haven't, I guess, compiled that. Isn't it? Shouldn't it be this way? Anyway, probably for layer ID. Yeah, I guess that's how I do it nowadays. Well, yeah, anyway, so right now I have this cell ID field in my user data structure. So now it's a lot easier. Now I can just, what can I do? Yeah, well, first of all, no, I have indices that are implicit for the cells, so that's okay. So I'm gonna get this information about properties finally and write it to some field here in component. So I will have a new field. How should I call it? Naming again, that's a problem for me. The properties, they are just texts. Properties, how they are called in Aseprite? Properties, user data, they're actually called user data. Cell data, probably that will do. So there's that's the instance state. I don't want to touch that. I want to edit, yeah, also in prefab. So first of all, I will add it to prefab somewhere here. So it's gonna be cell data. Now I will name it with my well, terminology. So it's gonna be frame data. Frame data with yeah, what type we're gonna be. So I will have that bit of data, that string, for every cell, for every frame. And here I already have an array of durations. Yeah, so probably it will also be an array. Simple array of string. And that's probably it. so I will have the same field in the sprite component, somewhere here. Nice. So I'm gonna have, when I'm making a prefab, I'm gonna what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy yeah, I'm gonna copy that stuff here. I'm gonna set I already forgot how I named it. Frame data, I guess. Yeah, frame data. So I will set it to sprite prefab frame data of prefab. Okay, and I'm gonna actually load it in prefab here. I'm gonna do that. I have the separate functions for every bit of information. Here, info, directions. Whoa. That's a lot of code. That's actually a lot more than in the parser. Well, 285. So, so I'm gonna load it somewhere here. Probably also with some new function. So load sprite layers. Yeah, load frame data. I guess sprite frame directions. Load. Okay, let's call it load sprite frame data. Frame data. Written from ASE file, and I guess that's it. Names, directions. Yeah, right. So, what happens here? I will just call it right there. So, oops, with ASE file. Okay, so here I should return a simple array of strings. Right, so I'm gonna go over all of the cells. Have I actually? Yeah, so there's that field for some sprites and there's none for others. So I'm gonna just, I think, initialize an array. Yeah, make array with an empty strings. By the way, I actually can have those to be keywords, to have them interned and, well, eat a bit less of memory. Would it do any good? Yeah, I probably can intern them here, right here. Frame directions, frame data. So can I have a keyword which is just a dash? Yeah, I can. Yeah, okay, probably I will just do it here. So instead of simple array string, it would be simple array of a keyword. Right. So now I'm making an array with yeah, I need to have the count of cells. So ASE file frames. Frames here is a vector of ASE frame. No, that's a different frame that I mean. I probably just have to have here another argument, which would be just actions, frame directions. how do I load frame durations? Let's print frame durations. Make it stance length. So, so I map function lambda over the SE frame duration of frame. SE frame duration. Oh yeah, okay. That's the default value. That's not what I'm interested in. SE file frames. SE file. Map. Start. Oh, delete if identity. What is stance length? That's some weird function I have here. Probably I should just look at how it actually looks from inside. Can I access the initial SE file? I guess not. So I'm gonna call the same function I'm calling here to just load that SE file again. How do I make prefab? Here, yeah, load Aseprite. Just that string. Okay. Copy that and try to call it here, but instead of path I have just for instance sprites heroine ASE heroine SE. Right, so now I have this value. Do I though? What happened? What just happened? Okay, I'm gonna close that, and it isn't closing. That's a bad sign. Okay, I'm gonna just kill. Oh, wow! That's just wow. Heap exhausted. Okay, I'm gonna just restart my Lisp image just in case. But that was weird. Why have that happened? No locals here, sure. Oh, connection, what? List. Alright, I'm gonna just insert some debug prints to see what happens. Nope. Okay. So yeah, now before calling demo, I'm gonna I don't know, just call them that and print, or maybe even yeah, okay, just print SE file. Oh yeah, okay, of course nil is not a simple array of string. I'm gonna just return an empty array. Yeah. Of course it is already initialized. Okay, I'm gonna just restart Lisp image again. And see how it goes now. That's a lot. Probably I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, because each cell has its own image data, which is then uncompressed by my parser. Yeah, that will take some time. I don't want to wait for that. Yeah, break. Just stop. Stop. I'm gonna just print some fields that I'm interested in. So, what I'm interested in here is the cells. Yeah, maybe I can just look at that. Wow, now Emacs is stuck. Okay, Google. Alright, so I'm gonna just look at that output I had, and maybe I will make some sense of it. So yeah, here's the ISE frame, and it has some chunks, and here in chunks there are, well, some chunks. Okay, so what I'm doing in that function that loads frame durations, I'm going through stances. Why I'm doing that? Oh, I'm probably just skipping the sizes, so the stances, from the stances I get the lengths of my animations. Okay, so I sum they're here, and I have some total sum of that, for stance name being a hash key of stances, sum line. For stance name. Okay, and they then I do it if no, first I call map over that ASE file frames. What does deletive do? I kind of forgot. So item sequence from end test does not start end. Oh, I just simply delete everything that's over. Okay, that's weird, but okay. Right, maybe I can do some sort of the same trick here when I'm trying to load the properties. So I'm gonna remove that, and what I need here is the length. Yeah, if I sum all the stances length, I will get the actual count of my cells. Alright, so I'm calling it here. Oh, I even have a total stand length as the variable here. Then why am I calculating that again? Total stance length here, and I have a function total stance length. Where is that? Here it is, and it does exactly this. Okay, so instead of passing stances here in what durations, I'm gonna do a bit of refactoring here. Yeah, I don't really need stances here, I just need total stance length. So I'm gonna remove that let and just yeah, right. So then I'm gonna have to call this function differently. Instead of stances, I'm gonna pass total stance length. Yeah, and I'm gonna also pass that total stance length, which is actually the number of cells in my Aseprite file. I'm gonna pass it here to that frame data function. Nice. So I'm gonna just make an array for that length, for that total length, with the element type of string, no, the keyword, type of keyword, and initial element of new, which is, I reckon, the default, isn't it? Initial element, object, no, it's not new by default. If initial element is supplied, blah blah blah, cannot be supplied if either blah 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 blah, not supplied. The consequences of later reading of an uninitialized element of new array are undefined, unless either initial comments. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to set it here. So I'm gonna have initial element new. I guess that will do. So yeah, that's the result. That's the result, and I'm gonna put the data that I had read to that result here. So I'm gonna probably loop over it. Cross, I reckon, cross result. I'm gonna also be needing the index. So for that's not very nice. Okay, so for I from 0 cross result. So I reckon there was a way to define a type of variable just inside the loop clause in Common Lisp. I can't quite remember how it was. Loop type. Did we define type? Macro loop type spec. Oops. Type spec with close. No, I don't have with. I have word for as arithmetic. My type spec. Oh, just write a type spec after for as arithmetic or as a list. Or I guess I just can write type right here. It's none. I don't know. Will it work? Yeah, I'm not that good on Common Lisp, but anyway. So, why is that different? Ident. Oh, yeah, I have to put here a new variable for element for cell. Let's call it frame. So, frame cross result. So, then if the string is not non-empty, how do I check it efficiently? I forgot again. String is empty. Of course, I can make it dump. Just check the length being 0. String equal. Is it an Emacs Lisp or Common Lisp? It's an Emacs Lisp. Strings. The string collectors. Okay, I'll probably just check the length being non-zero. So when the unless the length is 0. Oh, there's some helper called length equals in Alexandria, so I'm gonna use that. Equal, and it even had some performance optimization. I have to call it with some I don't use it. I have to call it with some parameters in some specific order to compile it efficiently. Takes blah 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 blah, items, true, blah 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 blah. Hint: there is a compile macro that expands into efficient code. First argument is a literal integer, so I'm gonna use it like that. Unless length of that string equals to 0, length of that of that thing from frame, which is called ASE user data chunk text. So if that string, I probably want to put it in some variable, just with text string, I guess. Can I do that? I'll see in a moment. So unless that text, yeah, probably I can even make unless a part of the loop. So unless that length of that string is 0, which means that unless it is empty. So unless it is empty, we do what we do. We set the results corresponding index. Result of ASE user data cell ID of a frame. Right. Across the result. No, wait. No, I'm gonna iterate the frame here because it should be different thing. I'm iterating here through the sprite federations here from ASE file frames. That's what I should be iterating. See file frames. So I'm iterating over all frames from file. And that frames are not the same frames as I mean. Say frame duration. Alright. So what's the catch here? I'm setting. Oh, I don't really not need the frame itself. Yeah, okay. I got it now. I gotta iterate over that frames. Okay, I'm just well, too tired, I guess, already. So I read from the file that chunks. So the data chunk. So I'm gonna iterate over all frames and see if what are those frames. It's the frame, and the frame has chunks. The frame has chunks. All right. So I'm gonna iterate over frames. ASE file frames of ASE file. And in that frames, I'm gonna yeah. Now I'm gonna add some extra clauses to that loop. ASE file frames. So in frame, I should find a chunk that is a user data chunk, if any. Okay. So when they also can be nil, so I'm gonna check. Okay, that is gonna be a large loop. When ASE frame chunks of frame are not nil, then what we do? Then we should find some chunk that is user data chunk, if there is any. I reckon I was doing some sort of dynamic runtime dispatch on that chunk types here. Yeah, here. Loop for chunks across. Yeah, that's some extra loop. I'm gonna copy it here because that's exactly what I need here. So we wanna do that new loop. We're gonna iterate over the frame chunks. I have chunk, and then when this chunk is, wait, why I have end here? Oh yeah, when the chunk itself. So when the chunk is not nil, and when ASE user data chunk is also true. Yeah, right. So then we do what we do. So we iterating through all the frames in the ASE file. In the Aseprite terminology, we iterate for each frame over all cells, over all chunks, and we find the chunk which is user data chunk, and then if we find one, we actually set the stuff here. Yeah, so then again we want to check the string is not 0. So when can I actually have with after when? I guess not. So I'm gonna have let here. I'm gonna have in that let have text, which is that thing. And okay. And now, unless this text is not empty, unless length equals 0 text, unless it's not empty, I'm gonna actually set this results corresponding index to that thing. Yeah, so the index is this one. So so aref is over here. Yeah, and I'm gonna set the value to the keyword. Can I make a keyword? Yeah, a keyword from the. No, cannot actually use the string argument. Keyword rubber. Yeah, you can. But I have to uppercase it actually to be pretty. Where is it actually coming from? Yeah, it's from Alexandria, as I thought. I reckon I was making some keywords for right here for stance names. Keyword. Oh yeah, I call make keyword of format symbol. Wow. Can I call make symbol? Yeah, I can. Will that work pretty? No, it's not. Make symbol. Yeah, then I'm gonna have format symbol then. Format symbol. In the nil package. And some string here. For Lord's sake. How can I make an uppercase string in format? Capitalize. Yeah, of course it's practical command LISP by Diablo. So we need to find the column to make it capitalize all words, and with both my first and middle text to uppercase. Yes, so I guess I need that specifier or format. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I forgot the quotes. Yeah, nice. So that's what I wanted to do. I don't know if there's easier way to make a keyword, which is all caps. But anyway, kind of works in REPL. But of course, instead of rower, we're gonna need the actual text. Yeah. So I think that's it. I don't need that crap. So in the end, I guess I'm just returning that result. So I'm gonna end that loop and that one, and then return result. I guess I'm all good. No, I'm not. Which keyword? Oh, element type. Yeah, of course. I always forgot that you have to quote the element type here. Nil is not keyword. That's hard to argue. Can I have then something like that? Yeah, probably I should make it nicer. What? So, reachable code, frame, blah blah blah. The derived type of frame is values as iframe, including with this assert type, and will kit see user data chunk. Look for chunk across frame chunks. Derived type of frame. Yeah, right. Here should be chunk, and here also. Okay, so is it compiling cleanly? Yeah, it does. Okay, so now I have this function. I already call it here. Do I? What? Do not have suitable default, no value provided. Data. What? Value frame data. Oh, I see. I'm gonna have to add it also here. Okay. So I'm probably gonna restart the LISP image here, just to be on the safe side. Like it, and now, I'm gonna run a demo, and then I'm gonna see again what? Now at index 47, simple index 32. Should I know negative integer below 32? Yeah, of course, it's my new function here. Let's write frame data here. So okay, what happened here? I have I of 47, and here I is that index of frames. Why I even have it here? Oops. Nope. I'm not even using it here, am I? I'm not. So, all right. What's the problem then? Okay, I'll try try it again. Oh yeah, of course. So I'll restart it again. I don't need that line here, I think. Oops. Whoa. So, should be negative. Well, so what it is trying to index then? Okay, let's just see inside that ASE file. So I'm going across ASE file frames here. So I'm going over those. I start with the first frame. I'm looking inside of its chunks. Yeah. Then I go through all of those chunks. ASE frame chunks. Then I look if they're both non-nil and are user data chunk. Is there something like that here? No, there's not. So, okay. So, back. So then we are looking into the first frame. You can see inside of its chunks. There's just two cell chunks. How do I go back? Yeah. So then we look into the next frame, and into the next chunk, and then into the next frame. Oh yeah, I reckon the counter. Yeah, the counter is. No, that's weird. Let's look at 47th frame. Yeah, here are some user data chunks, and in the frame before, for instance, yeah, they're not. So probably that's the first frame with some user data. So then we look inside that user data, and we see that there's cell ID of 47, and we are trying to set. What we are trying to do here? Yeah, the total stance length is 32. Alright, I see the problem. I have this total stance length of 32, which is right, which is the total length of one direction. So here's 32. But then I'm starting another direction at the next cell, at the cell with the number 33. So what happens here is I think I should multiply that number here by the number of directions. Yeah, and that can also be a variable value. It can be 8 or 16. I'm having a 16, but it can be different. So I'm calling this function directions here. Yeah, I can just pass this value, I guess, to that frame data function. So I will pass it here, directions, and here, I'll spread for later, directions, and here I should multiply that by directions. Right, so now yeah, here's the thing. I'm actually not operating that values. I'm actually operating just, well, I can do the same trick I'm doing for frame durations. I'm setting the, for instance, the frame duration of the first of that animation to some value. Tag properties. No, not tag properties. The section frame properties. So I'm setting it here to 500 milliseconds, But then for the next direction, idle one, which is just slightly tilted in 22 degree, I'm not setting that frame properties, so there's default duration of 100. So probably I can do the very same trick here, and setting all of that properties for other cells by the script was unnecessary. But anyway, so what I want to do here, okay, so I'm gonna return the array of length, total stance length, and I'm gonna just look just at the first just at the first bunch of cells which form the first direction 0, which is east in my engine, and then one is 22 degrees clockwise, then one is, well, two is 45 degrees down, etc. So well, just it's the same trick actually that is here with frame durations. I'm just deleting here by delete if everything that is greater than total stance length. So I just delete all of the cells that are that don't belong to the 0th direction. So I'm gonna do just the same trick here. Yeah, frame data. I'm gonna just make the array of total stance length, and then I'm gonna set this stuff only when only when length is not, the text is not empty, and when that cell ID is less than total stance length. Right? 32? No, less or equal, I guess. So I'm gonna put that also to a variable. Cell ID to that, and unless its length is 0, and cell ID is unless, so if not, if length, well, if string is empty, unless okay, is it end or I'm just too tired to figure it out. So cell ID is less or equal than total stance length. So we are setting result to that cell ID. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Right. I'm gonna just test it now. Wait, what? Oh yeah, I think I should call this function with another parameters. Yeah, of course. Okay, bye. So the Aseprite frame data. Yeah, I should not call it with this parameter. Yeah, okay. So now it should work, and it does not. Why? I think the that condition here is wrong. So unless the length is 0, or yeah, I should have used 4 here. plus this or this. I guess. Okay, we're starting again. Oops. Not again. So, unless this is true, or yeah, it should be like that, unless LID is strictly greater than this total stance length, unless it is strictly greater. Right. So, yeah, we're starting again. Yeah, now it loads. Nice. And so finally I will check. Yeah, I will just hit that giant spider, so it will be in pain. Sorry. So I'm gonna check whether this information from an ASE file is loaded correctly. So I'm gonna need a sprite. So with sprite, I'm gonna check the player entity, and I'm gonna print frame data. Yay! So it is kinda right. So there's nils for all of the. Let's recheck it. So there should be nils for all, for first 12, even for first 15 values. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Yeah, right. And then idle for the 16th, then nil again, then idle again, then at some time a dash, then again nils, and then at the end idle. What is it, by the way? It should. Yeah, right. It should be idle. And it is. So this data is loaded correctly. Yay me. So it took me like just what, a couple of hours. Okay, so now I got this information, and what I can do now, I can play the animations properly. So this is not happening, this pain animation is not repeating over and over again. Okay, so this should be an easy change. Alright, so here there's a place in code when the animation is stopped. Okay, so that condition is alright, when remaining frames. So when remaining frames, wait, what? Remaining frames. What is happening here? Oh, when remaining frames is not nil. So then we play next frame from that remaining frames. Okay, that's the basic case. Then there's extra case for death animation. I will skip it just for now. And then here that T is for the case when the animation has ended and we go back again to the first of all frames. So we start the animation over. So here, what I should do is to check if to get frame data. So ref frame data with the index of a frame. Yeah, a frame. And then if that index, wait a second, if that data, if that frame data equals to, well, if it is not nil, so if right, so if it is not nil, then we just set the animation to that specific animation, the one that's from frame data. So here, for instance, we change it to idle. So I'm setting stance to idle. Probably I should just call switch stance, I guess. Plus blah blah blah. Frame counter stance. I guess so. So I'm gonna call it here switch stance of the entity to that thing that we read from an array. Oh yeah, and we should also check if it's a dash. Yeah, which also means that it's death animation, and we shouldn't progress the animation any further. So I'm gonna probably set it as some extra variable here, like what? Like frame data? No, like the just data is data. And so if that data here is not nil, then we just switch stance to that new animation data. And in that case, when actually this data equals to dash, it means that we should keep the current frame because it is like the death animation. So here it is. Probably here I should also set an extra condition for death animation case, probably, but I'll just write it as to do. Animation case frame data equals dash. that made a smiley. Okay, and also here, yeah. So blah 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 blah. Data, if data then we switch stance, or probably yeah. And in another case, when it is nil, we just go back to the start of the animation. So it kind of became a bit more code in that place where we change animations, but I guess it makes it more flexible, because now we can go to ASE file and then change some properties there, and they will be reflected here in the animations plate. So I'm gonna probably just compile that. What now? 0.0 is not fixed num. Well, it's hard to argue that it is not fixed num. System update. So 0 is not fixed num. Oh, there were some warnings. Okay, let's see. What's wrong here? Car deleting initial code, so long as it's not fixed num. Nil. Where's nil? Data. Frames. First all frames. I can't even get what is wrong here. Returns well as double float, not a fixed num. What returns a double float? data vector set offset. Will Aseprite Malva switch stance. Oh, data. But I've checked if it's not nil here, so it should just call that. What is even happening here? So, first frames car, all frames deleting. This is not a fixed num, no. The entity, do I even have entity here? Yeah, I have entity. Okay, I will just comment that and just do nothing instead, just return the frame. There's still some warning about all frames deleting unreachable code. How it can be reachable? Frame data. Okay, let's just go with that. Wow, nil is not a type of a keyword. So if data call frame, many frames, that's really weird. Okay, I'm gonna just print here that things. Just print all frames, remaining frames, and data. And that would be, I guess I'll just tilde A. So, all frames, remaining frames, and data. Okay, let's see what happens here. Whoa, it wasn't even called. How did that happen? Frame data. Oh, maybe frame data was nil. No, it's not a type of keyword. No, frame data is not nil. So what the heck? I can probably print that one. Oh, I was going to print it. So a frame is something different. Four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, well, rf frame data should be nil just then. Probably I should restart the whole thing because something changed in the structure for the sprite. Nope, I have some strange error here. What really happens here? Ref frame data. So nil is not a type of keyword. Wait a second, I get it. I have a wrong type declaration here, somewhere here. Yeah, of course, keyword. I have it, I should have it like or keyword or null. Or is it null? Anyway. So now I really should restart the whole thing. Come on. Probably I don't need debug output here and here, and I can put it here back. Okay. So now it really should work. Yeah, nice. So now I'm gonna test that bug with the repeating pane animation. Nice, it worked, I guess, but no, it didn't. Once again, something is not of type fixed num. Where does it come from? Equal data frame, switch stance in the data. It should be working. So here was the case, I guess, when the animation have stopped. By the way, now I can see the actual entity. Can I actually inspect something here? Okay, I'm not gonna be trying it. So I think what happened is I was going to change from the hit animation to idle animation, so it should be that case. I'm gonna print something here. Switching to that. All right. Wait, what? Values double float? That's weird. Okay. 0 is not fixed num. Switching to idle. So what is even the problem then? Instance. I'm setting entity. 0 is not a fixed num. Time counter. Well, it is double float. So it says that the result is value is double float 0 0, not a fixed num. Load. So I'm calling switch stance with entity and data, which is, as we can see from the debug output, idle. The debug output somewhere here. Yeah, that one. Switching to idle. So I'm gonna switch stance with entity and data. Blah 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 blah. What's never? This is not a fixed num. Nil. Let's sprite that here. Probably it just is complaining because data can actually be nil, but I've checked actually here for it being nil. So I'm just gonna convert it to fixed num. Oh, pardon, the keyword. The keyword data. Okay, so now there's still still that warning about something being nil and not a fixed num. first fetch stances. Stance. For the stance, I don't even have a slight idea what is happening here. So if the kernel data vectors 7 offset array. Okay, what if I just comment that again and just switch to very same frame? I guess that will work. So it is trying to switch to idle. Right, so, well, what's the problem then? Why can't I call switch stance here? Right, and again. Switch stance. Oh, probably that's the return value. Here. Yeah, that's the return value. God, I'm so stupid. That's the value of that frame that I should return from that cont. So, right, now it works nicely. So I hit it and it shutters in pain and then goes back to idle. Now we're talking. So now that was the thing that I wanted to do here tonight. And now it's dead. But then it will still be following me despite being dead. But that's, I guess that's a bug for a different time to fix. So for now I think I will end the stream because, well, at least I've fixed some little bug tonight. So thanks a lot for watching, come back again for new streams, and yeah, thanks again and bye, have a nice one. Oh yeah, here's the question about Emacs package. Okay, so I'm gonna post, yeah, thanks to you. So I'm gonna post a link to my GitHub where I have my dot files. I actually use a lot of Emacs packages for common Lisp coding. I actually use Slime, of course, because that's, well, kind of default package for an Emacs. Then I'm using Evil Mode for editing because, well, I just love we, and then a bunch of other packages. So you can see all of those on that dot files in the folder emacs.emacs.d. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna be ending the stream now. So again, yeah, thanks for watching. Come back again and be careful. Goodbye.